The Department of Transportation just disregarded it, ignored it, and didn't clean it out anymore. But Sherwin Williams dug it out, or redug it, and put all this stone in here because draining runoff from this whole project here comes down into here and then goes across into Lake Calumet. Now, when they filed for that permit, we opposed that permit because of all the toxins that are in that water. And you can see it's not very pleasant looking, it's very scummy. Hard to tell what causes that scum, but the water's not moving anyway. So what you have is toxic water just sitting by the side of the road here. And I guess some of it, and during the rains, makes its way over into Lake Calumet, unfortunately. So here's where the water's a little bit wider over here, and there's just a very, very slight movement of water, but it's of a very ugly color. It's black and brown and mucky, murky. And when we look on the Google Earth map at Lake Calumet, there's some substance that's flowing in at a point which we're guessing is practically across the highway from here. We haven't yet found the culvert there. This connects somehow to Lake Calumet. About 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, Sherwin Williams applied to the Illinois EPA for a permit to have their wastewater go from this property and to be discharged into Lake Calumet. We fought that rather vigorously. We protested it to the EPA. Nevertheless, they were issued a permit, and there was a number of different toxins that were included that are going into the lake from this property over here. It shouldn't be happening, and when we look on that Google overhead map, photograph, we see where AC Cargo put up a video, a YouTube about a month ago, where there's this kind of like a petroleum black product going directly into Lake Calumet. So this appears to be the culvert where it's going under the highway. Traffic's really slow. There must be a problem up ahead. We're at about 117th Street South or 118th Street. When we get back, we should take a look at a Google Earth map to see Lake Calumet across the way and where this culvert might be reaching the lake. I think we saw it before where it joins up with another ditch on the other side, and together they join and then get emptied right into the lake. And this is what AC Cargo was referring to in his earlier YouTube, where it pours into the lake and it looks like some kind of oily petroleum-based substance, and it's very dark and it doesn't mix well with the water. So we know it's not just water emptying in. There's some other kind of substance inside that doesn't belong there, let's put it that way. But here's two culverts here that feed from the south apparently, and then this squared off concrete culvert going under the highway. Okay. Yeah, I'd like you to get a close-up, zoom into this, because it'll show just how putrid this water looks, and probably some dangerous stuff in there. I would like to have the EPA come out and do some testing and find out just what is in this water here and what's coming in and going into the lake. Remarkably enough, we see some activity, underwater activity down here, and I don't know, I mean, back in the day we used to see big carp swimming along in here when the water was cleaner, and when it was flowing, it wasn't so stagnant at that time. But how fish could live, or any kind of animal, amphibian, or anything live in this water, I don't know. Alright, here's what used to be a junkyard called Randy's Auto Yard. You can see the remnants of it, old number 44 up there. And used to be a parts place. You could come in here and buy parts for the cars, but then little by little they started taking tanks in, like you can see over here. And now it's become a big tank storage yard, and it's even expanding. We're going to move around to the back of this. I think it's open and where we can get into it. But what I want to call attention to is this stream over here that is connected to that Sherwin Williams culvert that we were looking at just about a block back, a block to the north of us. And particularly, and I hope your camera can catch it, the color of that down in there. It looks like some kind of chemical brown, who knows, paint, solvents. Could be runoff from the old junkyard, could be runoff from this chemical storage place. There's a lot of tank containers back here that say hazardous chemicals and stuff like that. And then this is a regular flow here. We can see the water's really moving, and it goes down and connects to that ditch down there that we filmed earlier, and then it goes underneath the Calumet Expressway and over into Lake Calumet. So this is another place this water ought to be looked at. The source of it should be found, and it should be tested to find out if it's dangerous, if it's toxic, and where it's coming from. So here we are along the Calumet Expressway. This is Doty Road West, the west side of Doty Road. This is one of the busiest highways in the country, I would guess. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. This is I-94, just a little bit south of 115th Street, with Pullman in the background over there, historic Pullman. And this is all Sherwin Williams property. There used to be factories over here. There was a chemical firm over here. There was what they called tin can, where they actually made their buckets. You could hear them pounding that steel and making those steel buckets for years and years. They make paint. And now all that's left is that blue building over there and that concrete building to the right of it. At one time they had a couple thousand people working here, and today there's about 120 from what I've been told. And this whole asphalt thing in front of us, this is part of the EPA mandated remediation project, and it's so highly contaminated under here that the only thing that they could do, or they negotiated for anyway, instead of having to haul everything out of here and take it to a landfill, they just figured the best thing that they could do would be to cover it with asphalt, and that's what we have now. Not a tree in sight. Over there's a little less polluted, so they were able to cover that with earth brought over from other excavations. And this is more highly polluted because of the chemical farm, the chemicals factory that was here.